What's up, military millionaires? Today we are going to talk about advanced TSP strategies that will make you rich. It is no secret that I am a huge fan of investing in the Thrift Savings Plan, the TSP. I've written several articles about it, filmed several videos about it, and about how to avoid the mistakes I made as a young Marine in order to maximize this benefit. Today, I want to talk to you about some more advanced TSP strategies that will make you richer faster. If you aren't already investing in the TSP or haven't seen my other videos or articles about the basics of the Thrift Savings Plan, you may want to check those out before watching the rest of this, but you'll still get something out of it. So either way, the first strategy is the triple tax deferment. When you enter a combat zone or other tax-exempt duty station, you can contribute to your TSP as usual. In fact, you can actually contribute up to $57,000 a year to your TSP while deployed, which is a number that is much higher than your normal limits, $19,000. Since your income will not be taxed while deployed, you could be contributing tax-exempt pay into the TSP. As a result, you could be able to avoid taxes when contributing, avoid taxes on your earnings, and avoid taxes upon withdrawal, which just is mind-blowing to think that you could just no taxes at all. Be sure to check out my other TSP video if you haven't done so already, and then smash that like button. That's my advertisement. Back to advanced strategies. Allocation automation. Yeah, that's right. I could be a rapper. Allocation automation. This is not an advanced strategy in terms of technical knowledge. However, it's an advanced strategy in terms of the mindset it requires. It is not always easy for people to admit that they don't understand money, myself included. Lots of things we don't understand. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is understand what you don't know and invest accordingly. In the case of the Thrift Savings Plan, admitting that you aren't a savvy investor could literally earn you millions of dollars. For example, the first 6 to 7 years I was in the Marine Corps, I had no idea what to do with my money once it was contributed to the TSP. This money just sat in the G fund, earning a minimal 1 to 3% interest year over year over year, barely outpacing, if at all, inflation, which is just not how you ever build wealth. But at least I wasn't losing money, I guess. I did the math last year. I missed out on tens of thousands of dollars worth of interest that I would have earned if I had allocated my funds intelligently. I am currently invested in the CNS funds in an allocation percentage that's similar to the total stock market index. Side note on this, like asterisks and stuff, I don't really want to discuss my specific allocation for liability reasons, so I can't give that out, because if you follow it and lose money, then you might say, oh, well, Dave said, so no. Life cycle funds. If you are not super savvy with investing or don't trust yourself to stay the path during downturns, the life cycle funds are perfect for you. You simply choose, click, click, the life cycle fund associated with the year that you will begin withdrawing, and then you never touch it again, ever. Don't, just leave it. For example, I will turn 60 in 2050. So I would just utilize the Lifecycle 2050 fund, while somebody who plans to begin withdrawing in the year 2055 could use either the Lifecycle 2050 or 2060 fund, depending on your risk strategy. The way these lifecycle funds work is that they automatically adjust from a more risky allocation to a more conservative allocation as you get closer to withdrawal. The beauty of this is that your automatic contributions will be automatically allocated, and you'll never have to touch your TSP again until withdrawal. So they will adjust based on your age and your risk performance to ensure you get the best withdrawal with the least amount of risk for ever losing money. You just set it and forget it. Timing the market with your TSP. At some point, I ended up in a Facebook group dedicated to investing in the Thrift Savings Plan. I registered to join this group because I was hoping to learn some valuable information that I could relay back to you guys and maybe get notified about updates. Instead, I quickly realized that a large portion of this group was dedicated to a strange form of short-term trading that was borderline day trading in some instances. There were daily market updates with people commenting about transferring money to the G fund on days that the market would go down and then transferring it entirely into another fund when they thought it might experience growth. Almost nobody can outpace the market. I'm going to repeat that because it's so important. Almost nobody can outpace the market long term. And if they do, it's expensive. It is extremely rare for anybody to consistently outpace the market. Now, even if you do manage to outpace the market, I would be willing to bet that the amount of money you earn wouldn't be worth the amount of time it costs you to earn that little bit better return, especially when you factor in taxes and trading fees. The best thing you can do is decide on a fund allocation and just stick to it. The market will go up and the market will go down. It'll be bullish and bearish and up and down. And if you try to predict this, you will stress yourself out to the max and probably still end up losing money in the long run, even though you were stressing about it. You need to stick to your guns. And I would recommend adjusting your allocation no more than twice a year if you feel like you need to mess with it. I haven't touched my fund allocation in over 2 years now. I'm much happier not focusing any time or effort on it than I would be stressing and maybe, just maybe, earning a few extra dollars. Probably lose it. Thrift Savings Plan loans. A lot of people don't realize that you can loan yourself money from your TSP. Just here you go, without paying a penalty tax. You can borrow up to $50,000 or 50% of the total vested account balance, whichever is less. So if I have $50,000 in there, I could borrow up to $25,000. If I have $100,000 in there, I could borrow up to $50,000, if that makes sense. There are two types of TSP loans that you can utilize. The first is a general purpose loan, which may be used for any purpose. There's no documentation required. It's a 1 to 15 year repayment term. The second is residential TSP loans, which is for the purchase or construction of a primary residence. It does require documentation to show that's what you're doing, and it's also got a 1 to 15 year repayment term. There is a flat fee of a whopping $50 that TSP charges for administrative expenses, but it's just subtracted from the amount you borrow. So if you borrow $10,000 with the TSP, the amount paid to you will be $99.50, and the interest rate on your TSP loan is whatever the interest in the G fund is earning on the date that the loan is processed, which is usually anywhere from 1 to 3%, closer to 1 or 2. This loan is set up so that it's a fixed interest rate for the life of the loan and extremely low interest, which is awesome. To top it all off, the minimal interest you do pay on this loan gets repaid to yourself. So if you borrow $10,000 at 2% interest, you'll be paying yourself an extra $200 a year as you repay the loan. That sounds great, but the biggest downside of utilizing the TSP loan is the opportunity cost. Let's say your fund averages an average of 7% increase in value, which is the market average over the S&P 500 for like the last majillion years, whatever. So 7% return. Every year your loan is out of the market. If you are repaying yourself 2% interest, then you've effectively missed out on 5% return on the investment that you would have gotten if you just left your money in there. So you're paying yourself $200 in interest every year, but you would have been earning $700 if it had just been sitting there. For that reason, I much prefer to leave my money in my TSP as my emergency fund all the time, unless I know that my return on investment will be much higher than what I could be earning in my retirement account. And that's gotta be guaranteed or something, right? Like I don't wanna risk it. Now you could roll your TSP into a self-directed IRA. When you exit the service, it will become possible to roll part or all of your money into a self-directed IRA. The benefit of a self-directed IRA is that you control where the funds are invested, and you're just not limited to the stock market. A self-directed IRA can invest in real estate, businesses, or operate as a private lender if desired. There are many advantages to investing with a self-directed IRA, and one of my favorite is that you're in control. You can lend money to a fellow real estate investor, purchase tax liens, conduct note investing, and many other options, and not pay taxes on it. The disadvantages include additional fees and work required. There's very few, if any, funds with lower fees than the Thrift Savings Plan, not to mention that investing in real estate requires a lot more time and effort than simply letting your TSP earn interest by sitting there. Now, I love real estate, but let's be honest, letting your TSP just sit there for 40 years, it's definitely less effort than just actually having to invest in real estate. So now there's some ways to withdraw your TSP early. One is the substantially equal periodic payments, SEP, which is a method of withdrawing money early from your TSP without having to pay the 10% penalty. SEP can be used in the form of amortization payments, annuitization payments, or the required minimum with distribution RMD. All these methods require it to be a long-term plan. SEP requires that you continue the chosen method of withdrawal for at least 5 years or until you reach 59.5 years of age. If you change the distribution method prior to meeting these required times, you will be hit with the normal 10% early withdrawal penalty. Each of these SEP withdrawal methods uses life expectancy and other factors to determine the amount you may receive. The results are different for each method and they are somewhat complex, but worth looking into if you would like to withdraw your cash without paying the penalty. Now here's the best TSP withdrawal practice. There are several different ways to withdraw money from your TSP, but you must begin taking required minimum distributions no later than April 1st of the year after you turn 70.5. You may take partial TSP withdrawals every 30 days, or you can take a full withdrawal. You can choose to withdraw a specific dollar amount monthly, quarterly, or annually, and you can indicate this decision when you complete your withdrawal request. You can also take lump sums and withdraw money here and there for large purposes if you desire. So you could say, I need $10,000 to fund my car, whatever. You can even have the TSP compute a payment amount based on your life expectancy too, and they will just pay you out that much, and hopefully you're dead by the time the expectancy runs out, or you're not gonna have any money. If you have monthly expenses that you would like to cover, you could consider purchasing a life annuity, which is a monthly benefit that is paid to you every day for the rest of your life. You aren't required to use your entire TSP account balance to purchase the annuity, but the minimum is $3,500. Okay, you might be thinking this is confusing. Yes, it is, and I tried to just wave top as much as I could. Be sure to consult with a tax professional and the TSP personnel to ensure that you're making the right decisions. The beauty of the Thrift Savings Plan is that it can grow to become a huge, valuable asset with a ton of different ways to pay out and support your lifestyle in retirement. Just understand your options so that you know which way is the best way to utilize it as it grows. I personally love the TSP, if for nothing else, then because it creates a wonderful, wonderful way to have reserves for properties. So your TSP counts as cash reserves towards real estate investments, and so you can leave it there as your emergency fund. So say I have $50,000, we know I can pull 25 for a loan, but I can pull all of it at the 10% penalty. And either way, if something goes really bad with my real estate, this will cover all of my expenses. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and comment down below what your favorite advanced TSP strategies are.